the fact that this story broke today on the day of the State of the Union had me wondering if Joe Biden is about to go up there and declare, war on Russia or something. That has not happened or anything like that. But when you hear news like this, you do question, how close are we to such an event happening? Army activates pre-positioned stocks for first time in wake of Ukrainian invasion. Break glass in case of emergency. Thousands of military vehicles being activated for the first time in history. So the 1st Armored Brigade Combat Team, 3rd Infantry Division soldiers deploying to Germany in response to the activation of NATO Response Force are being outfitted with thousands of vehicles and equipment pieces from Army Pre-Positioned Stocks TAC 2 for the first time in the program's history. The pre-positioned stocks are stockpiles of equipment and gear waiting for rapidly mobilized. First of all, how many people even knew that this existed? If you even knew that this was a thing, comment it. And being that this is Army pre-positioned stocks too, for all the military experts out there, how many stocks are there and where are the other ones? I ask you in the chat. So the pre-positioned stocks are stockpiles of equipment and gear waiting for rapidly mobilized units to tap into during the international military crisis. And for the first time in the 405th Army Field Support Brigade's history, the unit was tasked with outfitting an entire brigade as soldiers from Fort Stewart, Georgia, deployed to Europe in the past few days. Pre-positioned equipment and rations is a Cold War-era idea that would have helped U.S. forces rapidly respond to a Soviet assault in West Germany without having to wait on their own unit's shipment of gear. Basically, in other words, it's a lot easier and faster to move 1,000 people than it is to move 1,000 trucks. Believe it or not, you can move tanks, helicopters, trucks in the back of a cargo plane. But you can only fit a couple. There's so many concerns. How far is this plane flying? What's the maximum payload that it can carry? How many of these are going to be shot down in case of a war? Can these fly? Are there enough planes to rapidly deploy enough vehicles to have a rapid response to a Russian threat? All these questions. So what the United States seems to have done is just created an inventory of vehicles strategically placed to respond to a wartime threat immediately. Very smart. So they describe right here as a break glass type of situation. Soldiers would only touch the stocks in case of war, which is why the utilization of APS-2 in the conflict between Ukraine and Russia is historic. It signifies the seriousness of the invasion and the ramifications it may have for Europe and U.S. military members stationed and deployed into the region. Soldiers from all 4 battalions of the 405th worked tirelessly in the first few weeks of February to prep their respective APS-2 sites as tensions with Russia escalated. I imagine you're the Motor T guy who's got to dust the cobwebs off of 800 military vehicles. Yeah, that's not that. You imagine you're the lieutenant who's got to do the inventory on every piece of equipment inside those things. Radios got to go inside those things because most likely, any sensitive equipment would be stored separately. This is just what I'm thinking right here. I'm just coming up with this right now, off the cuff, spiffballing, if you will. But if all these vehicles are stored somewhere, you're not going to keep all the weapons will be somewhere else. All the radios and comms equipment will be somewhere else. So these vehicles would be waiting to be prepped. Shells with, imagine if you've ever seen how can I describe it? Like an audio visual or a musician's rack. You've got, your all your mixers, all your interfaces, a computer rack with a bunch of components in it. That's like what the inside of a Humvee is like, and then you got to start putting stuff in there. You've got your Blue Force tracker, your radio, you've got, weapon stores, ammo. You've got to put the pintle mount on there for your machine gun. Then you got to put the machine gun, ammo and weapons are stored separately, all this stuff. So imagine you're the Motor T guys and the Camo guys and everything. And they're like, hey, those 1,000 vehicles in that basement that nobody's touched in 30 years? We're touching them. They're about to get touched. We're about to touch the shit out of those things, for real. So that's what's going on right now over there, I guess. So it says nearly 7,000 soldiers from Fort Stewart, Georgia were mobilized February 24th in the immediate wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. We're grateful to our allies in Canada, the United States, for the recent commitment to deploy an additional 7,400, including an armored brigade combat team, artillery, naval frigate, and surveillance aircraft to support the alliance-wide efforts, said Air Force General Todd, whose name's spelled wrong, T-O-D. Who spells her name T-O-D? Walters. Walters also spelt wrong, Wolters. I don't trust this guy. Head of U.S. Eurocom Command, EUCOM. Why did I say Eurocom? EUCOM. So they're issuing out tracked vehicles like the M1 Abrams and the M2 Bradley. They also have Paladins, generators, JLTVs. If you don't know, like big generators, if you've never been on an op where like you mobilize a unit like this, you've got to take giant diesel generators to have power out there. Like this is a massive undertaking, right? You're going to have probably big light stands, mobile light stands, things to set up mobile bases, things like that. The execution of the APS-2 ECHA operations is a complex and challenging task that truly requires a robust team effort and to ensure mission success. The task of organizing and issuing APS-2 was a multi-unit effort, Milkowski said. She cited support given by U.S. Army Garrison Bavaria, 7th Army Training Command, 624th Movement Control Team, 16th Sustainment Brigade, 409th Contracting Support, 21st Theater Sustainment Command, U.S. Army Sustainment Command. Yeah, absolutely. All this stuff. Incredible to see so many diverse organizations. How did diversity? And then they work diversity into there. Okay, that's fine. It is incredible to see so many diverse organizations come together to enable our team to rapidly receive, stage, and issue ABCTs. I think they just mean like diverse in jobs, but, you know, come on. Always signaling. More than 600 pieces of equipment were initially drawn down from the 405th. Thousands of pieces of equipment will continue to be drawn and shipped to Grafenvar to support first ABCT soldiers as their European deployment progresses. Interesting choice of words. As their European deployment progresses. Imagine you're like standing in formation. It's 18 degrees outside. You're looking at 900 vehicles and you've just been told you're leaving home for an unknown amount of time. And your commander looks at you and said, as this deployment progresses, we're going to keep outfitting you guys with new stuff. And then you just drop your rucksack and go, we're never going. What's up, guys? Thanks for watching that clip from our live show. We're live right here on YouTube, Sunday through Thursday, 1800 Pacific Standard Time. If you want, come on by, join the chat. I'd love to hear from you. If you like that video and you want to see more, consider checking out this video right here or subscribing to the channel with this button right here. I look forward to talking to you really soon. I'm out for now.